Hello, magnificent beings. Welcome, everyone. I'm Eva Gregory, founder of the Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur Group right here, and founder of the Enlightened Business Success Academy, where we help established coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs attract high-end clients with premium offers and integrate inner guidance into the practical strategies that we teach. And I'm excited to be talking about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart today, all about when your soul is CEO. And this is your natural channel to success. So, what I've noticed over time is that there's this critical missing piece that's threatening the success of a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches' businesses. And it's one that will make the difference in how successful you'll be, the number of clients you attract, the impact you'll have, and the amount of money you'll make. And the best part of integrating this piece into your business is that it allows you to share your work in a way that is aligned with your spirit and values and makes phenomenal money. So when you can shift your consciousness and you can align your energy to abundance and prosperity, you're not just changing your own life, you are actually being a ripple effect to the shift in consciousness that's going on in this world. And so you're doing something that's going to affect those who follow in your footsteps forever. If you are a heart-centered entrepreneur, a coach, a healer, a holistic practitioner, someone who's passionate about making a positive impact in the world and transforming the lives of others, and if, in spite of that, you're not getting the results you feel you should be getting in your business, or maybe you've got fewer clients than you want to have, or you might even be feeling like you're overworked and overwhelmed, or you can't seem to reconcile what you've been taught with what you have to do to grow your business with who you are on the inside. If you're like me and so many spiritual entrepreneurs, you grew up being taught that you have to behave a certain way. Anybody been taught you gotta be a certain way? Oh my freaking God. Your parents told you what you shouldn't think. Your teachers taught you how things should be done. And now here you are, you're in business, and it seems like everywhere you look, you're bombarded with the right way to do your marketing and sales, how to run your social media, how to do your email campaigns, what to put on your website, all by experts who assure you if you do what they tell you, then you can have the kind of success they have. Now, what they're teaching is absolutely right on. I'm not disputing that at all. But when deep down inside, if that feels off to you, if it feels like it's out of integrity with your values and your spirit and who you are at the core, then you doubt yourself. And then you wonder what's wrong with you. And then you continue to struggle. And because I'll tell you right now, maybe if you're wondering why you're not experiencing the level of success and the prosperity you expected when you started your business, or you feel like you got to do things in a certain way, even when they don't feel good to you, as a result, what happens? You feel like a fraud, or if you lack the confidence to stand fully in the value of what you have to offer, a lot of times it's because the way you're going about it does not feel good to you, and it's because it's not aligned with who you are, which makes sense when you are one way in your personal life and you're running your business, and then that's not aligned with your spirit and your values. That doesn't work, okay? We are all so unique. And we have to be doing things that are aligned with our spirit and our values. And we have to bring all of us to the table in our business, not just a part of us. So if you've been compartmentalizing yourself, like when you're focused on your business, it's strictly business. And then when you have your personal life, it's over here. And then your spiritual life is something completely different. So what happens is when you are segmenting yourself like that, we can't do that anymore. That's when you create this tug of war that's going on because you are not expressing yourself fully. And you don't get to be you authentically when you do that. And that's what gets shown vibrationally, right? It will hold you back. And so in those moments of worry or stress, when there's too much to do, or you're not sure which direction to take or which decision to make, and you're feeling overwhelmed and alone, and you're feeling out of integrity as a result, as hard as this might be for you to hear, your business will never be as successful as it could be as long as you remain out of integrity with yourself and your spirit and your values. Got it? Hello. Yes, me. Awesome. So here's the thing. Accessing your inner guidance, like really trusting your spirit. This is your soul. It is straightforward. The real work is releasing the doubt and getting out of the way of what's trying to move through you and what you're being called to, right? Second, it's natural. Your guidance and your ability to access it, this is something that's always been with you. It's a matter of you knowing how to tap into it. More importantly than that, with the people that I work with, they, even when they're getting their guidance, they're not trusting it. And so you've got to learn how to trust it as well. And then finally, it's permanent. So once you learn how to connect and channel your own guidance, you always have access to that divine wisdom, that creativity, and that support that you need. Unless, of course, you stop asking or you choose not to receive it. Why you would want to do that, I have no idea. But the good news is that if you've got a burning desire for making a big impact, doing what you love in a business that is in full integrity with who you are, you absolutely can do that. That burning desire is your inner guidance. That is your inner guidance at the very core level of who you are. And over the years, I have worked very closely with two groups of spiritual entrepreneurs. The first group are those who were just starting out or they're just about to start out in their business, and they're doubting whether or not they should. Like they're wondering if they can really succeed in their business and maintain their integrity and their authenticity. The second group are those who did believe in themselves enough to jump in, start their own businesses, and then somewhere along the way, they became jaded and they lost the track of their vision, right? They've lost their reason they got into business to begin with. Now, both of these groups love the idea of being able to reach a lot of people with their message, make good money while making a positive impact. And they are yearning to experience that deeper meaning, but they don't know what to do or they don't know how to get there without feeling like they have to compromise their integrity and their values based on what's being taught that they should do or they have to do in order to have a successful business. Any of you relate to that? If you can relate, let me know in the comments. Like, I relate. All right. Whether you're catching this, by the way, live or on the replay, I always come back and I check the comments. So I know most people are checking this. They will be catching this on the replay, which is awesome. Welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here as well. Okay. So I see, great. I love that. If you've got a burning desire for making a big impact, doing what you love in a business that's in full integrity with who you are, and make good money as a result, you absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, are set up to do that, okay? Your ability to create a successful enlightened business consists of three things. One, doing what you love. Two, making a positive difference in the world. And three, is integrating your inner guidance with the proven practical strategies that creates a successful business. But you want to have the proven practical strategies that are aligned with you. Okay. And not all of them are. And what's aligned with one person may not be aligned with another. One's not bad and one's not good. They're both different for different people. Got it? And this is where I get frustrated is when I hear people say spirituality and business don't mix. I couldn't disagree with that more. You want to get my ire up. That's it. Not only are spirituality and business a mix, they blend and they merge to create more joy in your business, to create more success in your business, and you make a bigger impact as a result. So I say your relationship with your inner guidance is critical to creating your business success. That is what I teach, is at the core of everything that I do. Not just your business, by the way, but your entire life. And right now, however, I am speaking specifically to business, okay? Practical business knowledge has its place. It is necessary if you're going to be successful, but there's got to be a balance, all right? Whoever heard that aching feeling in your belly and then you ignore it and then maybe later you really wished you'd followed that hunch? Anybody have ever done that? Oh my gosh. It might have been because you were following someone else's advice and you weren't listening to your own inner guidance. In any given day, you have to make multiple decisions that makes a huge impact on how many clients you'll attract, how much money you make, how many lives you'll impact. So how do you develop this ability to make these thousands and thousands of decisions that we need to make? How do you get that direct access to your inner guidance? That is your soul. When your soul is CEO, you are leading with your inner guidance. How do you get that access to your guidance? So you know that you're making the right choices and you're doing it with confidence and peace of mind. And then how do you know when to listen to the practical advice and when to listen to your inner guidance? Okay. Oh my goodness. I see these questions from my spiritual entrepreneurs all the time. But here's the thing. What I found is it's impossible to separate the two and succeed. Okay. So if you're thinking maybe this might work for others, but it's not possible for you to have direct access to your guidance. Oh my God, I'm here to tell you, not only can you, you were meant to. You were meant to. And by the way, I want to invite you all to take my inner guidance superpower quiz. But this is where you can find out what is your inner guidance superpower. So even how we get our guidance is different depending on who we are. Okay. So if you haven't taken that quiz, I know a lot of you probably haven't. You know what? If you will drop inner guidance quiz in the comments, whether you're here live or on the replay, what I'll do is I will make sure you get that link. And because I'd love for you to take that quiz, find out what is your inner guidance superpower. Okay. Because that's going to be the easiest way for you to trust the inner guidance that you're getting and to start paying attention to it if you're not used to doing that. Now, I know most of you in this group are already tapped in, but this is just another way of finding out what is the easiest way for me to tap in. Okay. Absolutely, Judy, you've got it. When I get off of here, I'll go through all the comments and make sure that I reach out to you guys. And if you're on the replay, same thing. I'll be coming back to check that. My superpower is transcendental love. And so once you take that quiz and you find out what yours is, come back and post that here so we know what your inner guidance superpower is. Okay, so let's talk about how using your inner guidance superpower plays out in your business. It's not uncommon when you start out in business that you try anything and everything to grow your business and find clients. I was the same way. I mean, it's like, oh my God, I need to do something to get my business off the ground, right? But the problem is you're usually not focused, you're unclear, and you're probably going in multiple directions at one time. You're all over the map. And what does that do? That results in overwhelm and burnout. So what's happening is you've been giving your power away as you look outside yourself to the next new thing that surely must be the answer to your success, right? This is where your inner guidance superpower comes into play. So if you think about it, it's like the GPS in your car when you need to find your way somewhere, okay? So a GPS system, that is just a feedback device. It's going to tell you where you are at any given time relative to your desired destination, right? And to get it working, all you have to do is you enter the destination into the system and then you start moving, right? And if you get off course, that's okay. The GPS is going to recalibrate. It's going to reroute you to get you back on track, right? So what if you had a GPS system that would do the same thing for you in your business and in your life? Because you've got one and you were born with it. Now, I call this particular GPS system your inner GPS, guidance powered by spirit. Okay, your inner GPS. It is extremely powerful. It guides you to the success you want in your business. It's based on your dreams. It's based on your desires, based on your spirit, based on your values. And that's very unique to you. And it comes from before and beyond this material physical world. It comes from outside the perception of time and space. And it's a real-time guidance system that is beyond your conscious awareness or your thoughts. And it is guiding you every second of every day, whether you realize it or not, and whether you're paying attention to it or not, or whether you're listening to it or not, okay? And it's not related to your background, your culture, your education, your age, your intellect, or your experience. And we all have access to this. this universal wisdom. And nobody has more than anyone else. That's another thing that I really want to emphasize here. So whoever you think of as the most enlightened people, none of them have more access to universal wisdom than you do. Not Albert Einstein, not Stephen Hawking, not Gandhi, not Buddha. Okay? But you have to learn how to quiet your mind and get your thoughts out of the way so that you can be open to that guidance. And when you're in that state, this is when you are literally the natural channel to your success. It is the natural channel that through which your inner guidance flows. So if you've ever noticed, let's say you're racking your brain on how to solve an issue in your business and you can't figure it out, and then you just finally let it go, and then the answer shows up or it magically appears. That is your guidance. That's your guidance showing up when you finally let go and stop trying so hard. That's what we do. We try to effort it. We're going out to figure it out. We need to relax and let it in. That's the difference, right? So you'll notice when you're taking a shower or you're driving or you're out for a walk, these are the times maybe you get that streak of insight or the idea about something to do, or maybe it was something you were stuck on. When those things happen, those downloads that happen, and it feels like they just come out of the blue, that's your inner guidance. That's your inner guidance. So it's not uncommon for inner guidance to show up when you're doing something else, especially when you're in a relaxed state. Okay, but it's not when you're sitting there and you're up in your head trying to figure it out, because where does guidance come from? Your heart. So we got to get out of our heads. And that happens when we're in a relaxed state, or we just let our minds wander, or we're focused on something else, right? Sometimes it shows up in the middle of the night when you wake up unexpectedly. That happens to me all the time. You ever heard the 3 a.m., you wake up at 3 a.m.? That seems to be a really popular time for our guides to want to come in. You know why? Because we're quiet. We don't have any resistance. We don't have any chit chat going on, right? That's why. Years ago, Robin, my other half, and I, we had a software company, and we were struggling. We were leaking money like crazy. 5 years of this. We were in action. We were doing all the supposedly right things. We were looking for backup to help us launch this awesome software program that we had patented. We couldn't get that. We were laying off staff. We weren't paying ourselves so that we could actually retain the skeleton crew that we did have left. Morale was non-existent. Creditors were after us personally. They were after us in the business. Our stress levels were through the roof. And here's the thing. This was after I had learned about law of attraction, right? Yeah, it's easy to use law of attraction on the little stuff. But when it came to the big important stuff like growing our business, it's kind of like I threw law of attraction out the window. I went back into my old mode of operation and started doing things the hard way. Anybody relate? This is what we do. Why do we do this to ourselves? Oh my God. And I used to regularly wake up in the middle of the night and I would have these panic attacks about the business and my life. Where was my focus? My focus was on not enough money, not meeting payroll. We can't pay our bills, fear of being evicted. And this was one of those nights, one of those 3 a.m. times, right? We just talked about 3 a.m. in the morning, I got woken up. But this time it was different. And I was able to hear my inner guidance. And I was told, hey, Eva, even though you know about law of attraction, you are not living it. You are not walking your talk. And well, of course not. Where had my focus been all of this time? It had been on everything that I didn't want, all of the fears, all the anxieties, all the focus, all that. And guess what? Your thoughts are the engine. Wherever you're focused, the thoughts are the engine, but the highly charged negative emotion I had was the fuel that was magnetizing even more of what I didn't want in my experience. So this is just kind of taking you back to law of attraction 101 right now. And that's kind of my, your emotions are key, right? So your thoughts are the engine, but your emotions are the fuel that is getting you whatever you're getting in your life, good or bad, all right? And what was I doing? Man, I was totally focused on getting what I didn't want. And so what was I magnetizing? Exactly what I didn't want. I kept dipping back into that lack and that scarcity, that not enough. I was tolerating a ton of pain and suffering in the process. And I went through all of that before I finally listened and trusted my guidance. And my guidance was to stop all of this crazy action that we had been taking in the business and focus on shifting the energy. The message I got was, Eva, you start with you and the energy in you. You shift your energy and you shift it in the company, starting with you. And I will tell you I listened and I trusted. There's the big T word. It's called trust. When you get the guidance, you got to trust the guidance, right? And I took a process into the company, which we played. It was called Our Prosperity Account. And overall, the company energy shifted as a result of that, okay? I won't go into detail of what all of that's about. But, if you want to know what the Prosperity Account exercise was, put Prosperity Account in the comments, and I'll make sure that I come back and give you I'll do a Facebook Live all about that. It would be an awesome thing we could do as a group for those of you who are interested. Anyway, within 9 months of trusting my guidance and making our energy alignment and focus the shift rather than the action, we are all practicing this process that I took into the company. We were approached to sell the company lock, stock, and barrel. And literally, we went from living from no paycheck to no paycheck, since Robin and I weren't always collecting one for ourselves, to successfully selling that business for a hefty 7-figure sum, okay? And when the company legally changed hands, Robin and I were in the Grenadine Islands on a 42-foot catamaran, island hopping with friends. That is the power of your inner guidance. You guys get this? You may not be able to access your guidance as easily as you'd like to right now or on demand, but over time and with the right practice, and you refine your ability to connect, you absolutely will get there. Now, of course, you're still going to experience ups and downs in your life. That's part of the human experience. Unfortunately, we signed up for this as souls when we came into these physical human bodies, right? And so we're going to experience that. We're going to continue to experience it. We've all had experiences of suffering and losses, some kind of hardship. Oh my gosh, just the last few years. Look at all of this going on. And if anyone ever tells you that once you learn how to access your inner guidance, that you will be in nirvana forevermore, you will have arrived, I say, run, Bambi, run. It is not true. It will give you a better quality of life. You will know how to reconnoiter the things that are going on. It will be easy for you to maneuver the stresses and the struggles and the obstacles and the challenges, but it still will have the challenges. That's part of the human experience. You guys got this? I wish I could say, here's your magic pill. You know what my guides, Theos, say? Eva, you are the pill. In other words, you are the pill, and you are the pill who needs to trust your inner guidance and understand energy work, and you lead your life with that and then apply your practical business strategies over it. You got it? We integrate the two. You can't have them be separate. It doesn't work that way. All right. I hope I'm making I'm like causing some thoughts here. I hope I'm waking you up a little bit. And what will happen is you will get inspiration around what programs or services or products you want to offer in your business. And you start looking for your answers within instead of looking for the answers outside yourself. You will get shifts in perspective. You will get those ahas and insights. It feels like they just come into you out of the blue, not when you're efforting. That doesn't happen when you're efforting. That's when we're up in our head, right? You will have greater self-confidence. You'll definitely have more peace of mind, even in the midst of the chaos and the contrast and the challenges. It could happen because it might not be fun to go through that stuff. It never is, but you have everything you need to get you through to the other side, and you know it, and it makes it so much easier. And so anytime you're running up into some kind of challenge or obstacle or issue, maybe in your business, you're going to find it's that you get through it in a much easier way than you would have otherwise. That's the difference. All right. So I just want to emphasize that you do not have to do anything that is outside your integrity or it's out of integrity with your spirit and values in order to be successful in your business. Got it? It doesn't mean that what some people are teaching is wrong. It's just maybe outside your spirit and values. We are all unique. That's why there's so many different ways and methodologies and processes and teachers and coaches and mentors, because all of them are valid. Got it? They're all valid, but what's your path? That's what you've got to be able to be sensitive to for yourself. All right. And so when you integrate guidance into your business, when you let your soul be CEO, then you are going to be extremely attractive to your ideal clients in your divine market. All right. It's when you're out of integrity that you're struggling. It's because you're not in alignment with the true you, with your true self. And when you are in with your true self and your authenticity and you are leading from your heart, you are tapped in, this is where you have less self-doubt and you begin to realize, and this is something I really want you guys to understand, when you start to really integrate inner guidance and you lead with inner guidance and energy alignment, there is nothing more important than that, especially these days. What you're going to understand is you are your own best authority when it comes to you and your life. You will still have your mentors and coaches and teachers and those that you go to learn from, but you'll be in your own best authority to know who is that for you. I have my own mentors, my own coaches, and I know who's a fit for me and who isn't. And there are some who I love and respect and they're not a fit, but that's okay. You with me? I hope you guys are. Say yes, no, maybe so. All right. And it's incredibly, incredibly empowering when you learn to trust what you feel is best for you versus what others feel is best for you. We got that growing up from our parents, right? And your inner guidance is always leading you to what is in your best interest, not anyone else's best interest. Now, it doesn't mean you won't look to others for advice or counsel. I still do. And I am investing in mentors and coaches. In fact, I have had mentors and coaches in my business since I first got into coaching, which was back in 1998. I've been here a long time. And they have all been instrumental in my success. And I have saved tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point, because I've learned who is the perfect fit for me and who isn't. And it's the same for all the decisions that you make in your life. And besides that, life is just a lot easier when you have access to your inner guidance. Now, I want to give you a little trick to start becoming more sensitive to your guidance. One of the things I recommend is that you download an app. This is what I use, and I've loved it, and I teach it, and I share it in everything that I do. And you probably, even if you've been on any of my previous lives, you've probably heard me talk about it. That is the Mindfulness Bell app. There are several versions of it. They're everything from free to like 99 cents, I think. The one I use is on for the iPhone, and there's also one that's for the Android. But it sounds like a Tibetan chime, like a Tibetan bowl chime when it goes off. It's just so beautiful. And what I'm recommending you do is you download the app, and you set that app you can set it to go off randomly every 15 minutes, every hour, every 2 hours. I mean, you can set it up however you want to. I actually recommend you have it go off every hour, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But when it goes off, if you're in a place where you can, you will stop everything, get into the present moment, and just ask, what's the most important thing for me to know right now? Don't get up in your head about it. This is a hard thing. Be open to receive, and you just be quiet. Now, I recommend you build up to this. You don't need it more than, I call it the 3-minute miracle. That's what I call the process, because you want to sit, you do it from 3 minutes at a time, and that's all you need to do. And you can build up to that. You can do it 30 seconds and just be quiet. You can do it for, build up if you need to. That's fine. But then once you're done, regardless of whether you got anything or not at that moment, then you go on about your day and the way you work. And then the next time that bell goes off, you do it again. Now, the reason I recommend you have it go off every hour is because a lot of times when it goes off, you're not going to be able to just stop and drop in. You might be on a call like this. You might be driving. And if it goes off every hour, then you're not going to be, you'll miss most of them, but you will find at least 3 times in the day where you're able to drop in. And here's the value of even the times that you can't drop in because things are going on. When you hear that bell, it's going to create the awareness for you. So it still has value. You guys getting it? So, oh, mine just went off. Yes. Mine's turned off for the moment. That's awesome. All right. So otherwise, if you set it for just 3 times a day as an example, and then you can't drop in at those times, you're going to miss out completely. So that's why I recommend setting it every hour. Now, later you might find out that that's just too much for you to use your inner guidance, people. Use your inner guidance. Test it, play with it, try different things. And I also highly recommend that you take that inner guidance superpower quiz. Drop superpower quiz in the comments so I'll remember to get that to you. Drop mindfulness bell in the comments so I can point you to those as well. And I'll make sure that you get those. Okay. So this is it. This is my big message today, is the power of inner guidance. When your soul is CEO, this is your natural channel to your success. And you've got to learn to lead with this. It is more important than ever. My gosh, I just got off the mindset call with my Enlightened Business Success Academy. And man, the whole focus today was on this and the energy and where we're going with it and what's happening and, how to move through it and the power of our energy alignment first and tapping into our inner guidance. Okay. So there you go, Kokomos, magnificent beings that you are. Just remember, baby steps will get you to the success you deserve when you're willing to hold to that vision. Lead energy first, energy alignment first. And remember, when you do, success is your only option. All right. Big, big heart hugs. Lots of love.